Well, everybody's been bad in their lives at least once, but this guy, I think he takes the cake. And I saw this happen, Mount Shasta Campground, and it's classic. It's a well-known event within a community of people. And I'm going to tell you what happened, what I saw this day, and also what happened to me before that kind of aligns with what happened. And I was out with a guy one time, and he said, "Hey, man, I got to tell you, this guy's been bothering my family and coming into our lives and doing bad things, and I want to get the law involved. I don't know what to do, but I don't want to hurt my family and all that kind of stuff." And I said, "Well, yeah, that's a tricky situation." And this thing just went on and on and on. And that guy said, "I think I'm just something's telling me to just sit back and let it take care of itself, And I said, "Yeah, well, sometimes that's the best thing to do. I mean, you can't get, hurt the family." I wasn't sure what was going on, so I couldn't really give advice too much. And then apparently, after he had let it go, he just knew that himself couldn't do anything without creating a problem. He just let, the universe take over. And that guy who was causing the problems was liberated and fully, and had to go to jail. And I won't tell you that story. But let's get into the story I'm talking about here. Mount Shasta Campground. This is a year and a half ago. And I was up there camping with another guy. So we're camping out, and there's these people come in and start kind of a party and set up camp. And there's other people camping, families, a bunch of people. And about 10 o'clock, man, it started to amp up. And things were rising, and these guys were getting drunk. And there were only a couple women, but it was like 10 guys starting to wrestle around and cussing and swearing and breaking bottles, man, a classic situation. And so then I was like, wow, this is crazy, I wonder if somebody's going to say something to him. Now, I wasn't going to say anything at this point. 10 guys and little old me over there. So eventually a woman went up and kind of yelled at him, and they just ignored her. And then about an hour later, as it ramped up, this other guy, and he was a big guy, he went over there, he asked nicely, and then they started yelling at him and said, F you, get the heck out of here, or hell out of here. And it was just getting ugly, and you could see other campers congregating, like, what do we do? And eventually they were like, and then there was also, this is really important, is there was like a group of campers kind of off in a group camp spot, and it was like this new age kind of thing going on. And then there were like, it wasn't, I don't want to make this like a cult thing. It was a new age thing. They had their robes on, doing meditations and on pillows and stuff, and it was cool. They were way off doing their thing, and it was night, and they had a little fire going. And one of them came over and said, what's the problem? Then a cop shows up, and the cop pulls in, or park ranger, talks to him and says, you got to stop, got to tone it down. And they were all like, okay. And they they listened to the ranger and said, all right, we're going to wrap it up, man. And they put everything away, and then you could still hear him talking, and then the cop left, and it starts to kind of rise again, and you hear a couple bottles breaking, and it was a full-on party like back in the 70s I used to witness. Anyway, so about an hour into it, now it's midnight, and I remember looking at my watch going, it's midnight, and these guys are raging. Then that new age group was kind of, you could hear them talking, and they yelled over once, please stop. And then it was weird. This is the weirdest thing. One of the weirdest things I've ever seen in my entire life was, here comes a guy, a little short guy, and he's wearing a robe, and he looked like he might have been like from Southeast Asia somewhere. And I saw him earlier at the restrooms. He was a really friendly guy, quiet, and just waved at me and had his little robe on, and real humble looking little guy. And he walks over there, and all I could see, and I can't hear very much because you got a lot of noise with the people, and then he's off to the side and walking up, and I could see the silhouette, just the silhouette of the guy's robe, and he walks up there, and you could see two of the guys walk up to him, and I could hear enough where if they were saying anything or having an argument, I would hear it. And then about 30 seconds went by, and that little guy in the robe just standing there looking at him. And they're like, what are you doing, old man? You know, yo, what are you doing, old man? What do you want? And that guy, the little guy in the robe, just turned around and walked away. It wasn't 45 seconds to a minute. And those people were packing up everything, wrapping it up, cleaning up all the glass, putting the fire out correctly, doing everything you do. You could hear them over there. We got to put the fire out and, you know, and clean that up, you know. And they're talking to each other like, hey, you got to clean that up, John. And it was wild. And they were like cleaning up and gone. It was the weirdest thing. And to this day, I do not know. Like, he didn't say anything to them. I don't think he said a thing to them. And all I can relate that to is just me seeing one time in my life another guy do something kind of like that. And he was a llama, and he just there was a construction boss guy, and he was just losing it. And that guy just looked at him, and that construction boss, big tough guy, folded. He completely started shaking, and that was because he was overcharging. And he was doing bad things to this family. And a whole other story about that. I saw that kind of thing happen once before. It makes you wonder, you know, eventually if you keep pushing and pushing and pushing, I mean, you can do bad things in your life, I guess, right? But eventually you do have to apply your lesson and learn that I can't keep doing this. And since I don't know what's beyond, and if you think you know what's beyond and you're just going to be okay acting like that, boy, I'd be scared shitless. Anyway, this is a little message if you're, you know, a person who's struggling with anger or you know someone who is, because eventually it'll fold on you and come back to you, and it's not good, and it's probably really sad. So I love you guys for watching this. Please like and subscribe. And my stories are endless. There's no means to an end. So thank you.